Hey guys, Bree here from Tunisian Crochet, and today is the day I'm finally unboxing my very first set of Tunisian crochet hooks because this year I'm learning Tunisian crochet. So let's get into it. Before we go down to the table and I open these up and we see what's in here, I would like to remind you that I bought these at Michael's and got a major discount on them. So how I was able to get them at Michael's and got a huge discount and they weren't even on sale, I found out Michael's will price match Amazon. The only thing is they have to be sold and shipped by Amazon. It has to have those two requirements. Not only do they price match though, if you meet those two requirements, but they gave an additional 10% off. So these hooks that were listed for $169.99, they price matched to the Amazon price, which was $51.87, then gave me an additional $5.76 off. I saved well over $100 buying these at Michael's, and I got them the same day that I wanted them, which is pretty awesome. I mean, the idea that not only price match Amazon, but an additional 10% off is still wild to me. So without further ado though, let's go down to the table and let's unbox these together. Okay, so now that we're down at the table, we've got the Clover interchangeable Tunisian hooks. This is what the front of the box looks like. Shows we're going to have multiple cords, some stoppers, we've got some hooks here. Alright, I'm going to flip it over to the back. There isn't anything really exciting on the bottom, the sides, or the top. So, on the back here, it shows us we've got 9 hooks, which are an E, F, G, 7, H, I, J, K, and L, and they range from a 3.5 millimeter on up to an 8 millimeter. So let's go ahead and open it up and check it out here. Okay, right off the bat, I really like this case because it's kind of on the stiff side. It's kind of like, reminds me of like a thick, like kind of like a canvas. It's got that kind of tough, more like rugged material. So here's our 9 hooks. And we have this little pocket here. And we have our 5 stoppers. It's kind of nice to have this foam that they're poked into. And the foam feels pretty sturdy, so I mean, I imagine you could use that for a while. So 5 stoppers, which is nice, because from my understanding, we have 5 cords. Now, according to the website, the smallest cord is supposed to be 16 inches. Now, it does not look to me, I mean, this cord's kind of stiff, kind of hard to stretch out, but I mean, I'm not getting 16 inches. Maybe after you put your hook on there, it's 16 inches, because this puts, you know, from like the tip of the metal here to the tip of the metal here is like just over 9. So let's just go ahead and put a hook on here, and then we'll measure it again. So first hook being screwed on here, going in nice and easy. Now here's something interesting. Most of the hook sets I've seen, typically there is like a little like metal key that helps screw them on. I do not see that in here. So does this kit not come with one? Because that seems pretty normal in most of them I've seen. I mean, it seems to be on there securely. I didn't. So I'll have to report back on that first time I go to use it. Alright, so now that we've got the hook on here, let's grab a stopper out. Alright, here's our stopper. Seems to be going on there. I mean, I feel pretty confident about how tight that is on there. Now, what I want to know though is that 16 inches that it says it's supposed to be with the first cord, is that with the hook? So that must be, because yeah, that stopper puts us like right there at like the 16-inch mark. So with the hook, it's 16 inches. But this by itself, I mean, that's not 16 inches. So that's a little, like, I don't know if that's how all of them work or not, because like I'm new to Tunisian. But I thought, like, my first thought was like the cord itself was supposed to be 16. So that's okay though. Alright, let me put that away. But yeah, these cords, you know, they're just like your run-of-the-mill plastic cords. I think that they feel kind of stiff to me. Now I've heard of people taking like cords that are stiff and stuff. I've heard, you know, that they go ahead and they put them like in more like hot water and it's supposed to soften them up. Now something that was important to me is I wanted it to be able to swivel, and let me just put the hook back on there, I guess. It'll just take a second, and it does swivel. So I mean, you can see it's spinning here, because I was concerned about that, because I didn't want, you know, if I had a cord that was stationary, that sounds like it'd just be like hard on your hands and rough, but feels pretty good. All right, let me put that away, and then I'll look it over. I'm supposed to have 5 cords. Like I said, I'm rather surprised though, because I thought it would have like a little key in order to tighten them down, but I mean, there isn't a spot on here. I mean, it's a solid. I mean, all these tips are solid. So here's another thing that I just realized is kind of a bummer with this. I didn't fully realize that there's no connector, so I can't like put 2 together, like if I need a longer length of cord. So that's something I'll have to be aware of, because being a big girl, and if I was making like something like in the round and it's supposed to fit my body, like I don't know if a 48-inch cord is going to work, because I mean, I don't know how much I can squish my project on there. Like I said, I'm new to this. So like, these are just my initial thoughts as a beginner. So, okay, there was 1 cord in that pocket. Looks like we've got 2 cords in this pocket. Let's see if I can pull them apart here. Yep, there's 2 cords here. And these 2 cords would be the 24-inch and the 29-inch. So let me slide those back in here. And then our last, there should be 2 more cords. Yep, here's 2 more cords. And this is supposed to be your 36-inch and your 48-inch. So those, I mean, are good length. I think this is probably going to be a good starter set for me. And from this, I'll be able to learn, you know, things like what I like, what I don't like. And so when I go on to buy, you know, a more expensive, fancy set, if this becomes like a big hobby for me, then, you know, I'll be prepared at that time. So this looks like you just fold it in half. I just was kind of, you know, I'm looking at this, how does this work? I guess you just fold it in half, bring it around here. And then I guess you must just, well, maybe you have to do it into a roll. I wasn't sure if like maybe it was magnetic. Okay, so let's roll it up here. Well, I guess you're not really rolling it too much. Maybe fold it in thirds. We fold it in thirds. Let's try that. Then we can bring this around here. I guess we just tuck it in like that. Yeah, that seems like it would hold in my bag. So if I just fold it in thirds, that's not too huge. So I mean, this I think is going to be a good starter set for me. But I think eventually down the line, if I decide I'm really crazy about Tunisian, I probably would upgrade to something else. But I think for a starter and what it is, it's going to be okay. I do like it's got this flap where you can put it over the hooks so that, you know, they're not going to pop out on you. And I mean, I feel there is no thumb rest. I'm going to let's take a closer look at the hooks together. And okay, it's nice that it's like etched on here. Is that going to wear off after a while? I don't know. We'll find out. I will report back about that. So it's got more of a pointed tip to it. More like, it reminds me like of Susan Bates. Now, I'm normally more of a boy girl, which means I like more of like a tapered versus the inline, but I'm adaptable. I mean, I can use both. Now, they feel nice and smooth. Like the tips are nice. And I don't know, with Tunisian, is that important? Do you want more of a point? So if you know anything about Tunisian, if you want to throw any tips for somebody who's a brand new beginner, like drop that in the comments, because I'd like to hear what you have to say. Like for me, I just was kind of wanting, you know, just to kind of share my first thoughts, you know, and I talk about my concerns today, but I think that the hooks look pretty good. I think they're very smooth. Like all the tips seem to be nice. Something I'm nervous about is like this little one, because I'm kind of an aggressive crocheter, and I feel like this I could easily snap. Like, to me, if I could have found a set that had metal hooks, it's probably what I would have gone with. That's usually my go-to. But I feel that if I, was crocheting too aggressively, because, I mean, this is how I'm holding my hook. I'm holding it like this. I mean, I feel like if I squeeze too hard, this would snap. So that's a little discouraging. But like I said, I mean, I saved over $100 on it. And I mean, I think for a beginner, it's going to be fine. Now, I can't give a recommendation because I'm new to Tunisian. I just, mostly today, these are my first thoughts, what it's looking like, and just kind of give you a little idea of like what's in it in case you were wondering. So I do think that so far, it seems okay. All right, so let me put this away. Let's just get down to the final thoughts. Okay, so the more I'm looking at this, the more I'm holding my hand, this is where I'm at on it. So I think I really like the case. I like that there's no silky bits because I hate that. I like that it's kind of on the stiff side. I like the idea that you just fold it in thirds. This goes around quick and easy. Tuck it in, and this doesn't feel like when I tuck this into here, like I just pop it in, boop. I don't feel like it's going anywhere. I feel like, it's not the tightest thing in the whole wide world, but I feel like because this is kind of a stiffer fabric, I feel like that's going to hold and I can drop it in with confidence. I like all the pockets. I feel like the hooks fit nicely in here. They're not coming out. I like that there's the flap though to kind of protect them and keep them from coming out, just on the off chance. I like that it's got this pocket for your stoppers, and I mean, I really do like the case. I think the hooks are nice and smooth. I mean, I've bought a few like wood or like bamboo hooks before, and there'll be like just rough edges that you end up having to like sand down a little bit. And I feel like these are perfectly smooth. I mean, and they're pretty. They're kind of like the colors kind of varies a little bit. And I think that's pretty. Now, will I like these the more I get into Tunisian crochet? I don't know. Well, I'll have to report back. But these are just my first initial thoughts. When I opened it, hey, this is what's inside. This is, kind of what you expect to see. And, I'm coming into it with, this is my first Tunisian hook set. I've never had Tunisian hooks before. So, I mean, I feel like I have kind of a different perspective because I'm extremely new. Like, I'm an absolute infant, maybe even younger than infant. So thank you so much for joining me today and tuning in. And I will be back next week with my next video. But until then, take care.